Hello, I'm Roger Tabor and I'm chairman of Brightlingsea Blessing of the Waters Committee, or to give it its full title, Blessing and Reclaiming of the Waters Committee. And it's part of the Cinque Liberty of Brightlingsea. And what the event is about, Blessing of the Waters at Brightlingsea, is basically a beating of the boundaries. So we both beat our boundaries with a procession on land, and then we beat our boundaries along the creek. And that's to claim our creek and our rights to our creek. And this has been going on, as I said, for centuries. So it starts in the centre of town, and there the town crier makes a declaration, and a procession goes forward, and it consists of both mayors from the Cinque Ports in Kent and mayors that are largely on the coast of Essex, and a lot of other people, and they go down to the water's edge, which is where the service takes place. And the service is something which, as I mentioned, is a historic event, and that's the historic location where both the sea would be blessed, but also the products of the sea. Brightlingsea is an old oyster port, and so the oysters and also the sprats, which were gathered here, were very important to us. So making sure of where our boundaries are, that they go out onto the water, is extremely important. So blessing of those waters is extremely important, as is blessing of those boats and the crews as well. So the clerics will throw water around onto the boats and onto pretty much anybody that's there. The procession then goes forward and goes out onto both the sailing smacks and sailing barges that are there. These are fantastic old wooden vessels, and they're bedecked with bunting and flags, and they go out with an accompaniment of noise, the din. And the din is an important part of beating of the boundaries, because everybody on land who's come along to see what's going on can make part of that din, either by bugles or whistles or just yelling as the boats go out, and similarly people do the same on the boats. And that's to make sure that anybody else at a distance knows that we're claiming our waters. And the boats go out and they go as far as Bateman's Tower, and that's at where our creek meets the main coal estuary. And that's where again the water is blessed and a cross is laid onto the water. And then there's a toast of gang ho. And this is a toast which is, again, a traditional part of beating of the bounds. And a beer is drunk. And then we all come back into the hard. And that's virtually, really, the end of what is a glorious event. I hope you will come along and join us, and do so in years to come.